They are ramping up their operations and combating these criminal organizations, something that the president, of course, promises to designate them as a terrorist organization.
I do not want to see America trounce on its own constitution and just invade a foreign nation.
It's time for a mysterious drone update. Welcome to the Doug TNAPLE channel. This time, drones, we're finding out, are being used on the southern border. We have the News Nation story here, and I just like keeping up with the drones. I like keeping an eye on those things. I'm kind of suspect. How about you? Let's watch.
We're seeing these Reaper drones quite literally on the hunt in international airspace over in Mexico, looking for the criminal drug cartels and their fentanyl labs. They are ramping up their operations and combating these criminal organizations, something that the president, of course, promises to designate them as a terrorist organization. So these are called MQ-9 Reaper drones, and they're out there carrying out these stealthy, covert missions. And they are not currently armed, but they can be equipped with payloads for precision strikes. The CIA, however, has not been authorized to use these drones to take lethal actions, officials told the New York Times, adding that they do not envision using these drones to conduct airstrikes. For now, the CIA officers in Mexico are passing information that is being collected by these drones to Mexican officials. They are adamant about finding these fentanyl labs, dismantling them, which apparently emit chemicals that make them easier to find from the air. And that's why they are doing this from the air with these drones, because of that access. Now, this is
an excellent strategy, in my view. We're going to find out how serious of an ally Mexico is, because Mexico claims to be compliant. Mexico claims to not want fentanyl, which I believe their leadership doesn't want it either. We're going to provide them with all the intel, show them where it's at, because they leave chemical trails. We're going to point out exact locations to their military, have Mexico go deal with these things. The problem with Mexico leadership, man, everyone knows that the whole country's run by the drug cartel. So we're going to expose and find out what they're made of.
CIA has reportedly flown surveillance drones to hunt cartels inside Mexico before, partnering with Mexican authorities. But here's the deal. With the more recent flights that were communicated to Congress, they were actually under the Trump administration using a particular notification that's reserved for new or updated covert programs that the CIA intends either to conceal or deny. That is what a source familiar with the matter said, adding that the notifications made no mention of Mexican partners this time around. So we talked with Darren Gobb. He is a geopolitical strategist, a U.S. Army veteran, and a former Black Hawk pilot, about the CIA's covert drone missions in Mexico. Take a listen to what he said.
For the most part, I do not want to see America trounce on its own constitution and just invade a foreign nation without a well thought out concept of how you get there, and having the people of this nation accept the risk through Congress to do something.
No, this is part of protecting our own borders. This guy's got it wrong. He's afraid that we're going to just invade another country. Is that what we're doing? Is this a declaration of war? No. Calm down, Montana, buddy. I don't even see the concern. Of course, you're allowed to surveil using your planes it doesn't say that we didn't get Mexico permission. It doesn't say that they've got so many of their citizens over here in our country. The idea that we can't put a drone and fly it over their border, I don't get this guy. I think he wants some news. He wants a news segment. So I'm gonna indulge him.
Now, I'm not saying that we would decide to, quote, invade Mexico, but if you're crossing the border into a foreign country with the U.S. military forces intent on accomplishing something like that, that looks a lot like an invasion. And you've just changed the situation significantly.
No, you didn't. What are they going to do? What are they going to do about it? I don't get this guy. Creepy, look like a melted candle. I see your American flag back there and baseball bats from Montana. I just need to see better reasons than that. That's all.
Now, Nicole, when it comes to the Mexico side of things, President Sheinbaum, she was pressed on these drones breaching that airspace over in Mexico. She kind of played it off today during a news conference, just saying it's part of a little campaign. Now, when it comes to the president, he, of course, day one said he was going to crack down on the criminal cartels. This week, Nicole, we expect the president to make that formal designation of that terrorist organization for at least 6 cartels and gangs over in Mexico, Nicole. So we'll be waiting for that this week.
Yeah, that opens up a lot of our options if we designate the drug cartels in Mexico as a terrorist organization. That's what Trump has said they're going to announce. So once that goes through, it's going to trigger a lot of things. Like it allows us to do more stuff with our, I don't know about the military, but it allows us to do things like target them with, I don't know about police action. I don't even know what you'd call it. Anything that you're allowed to do to a terrorist, you'd be allowed to do to this drug cartel. I don't get the problem. I don't get the problem that this Montana guy would have with that. Any of you guys see a problem with it? Let me know in the comments below. Let's wrap this up.
All right, so Allie, let's talk about your report yesterday. Border Patrol had stopped using body cameras because of possible detection by criminals, but it sounds like that move is already now being reversed.
Yeah, and about face already just a few days after that initial alert was sent out, telling Border Patrol that they needed to stop using their cameras right away. And it was because of a couple of reasons here. So one of the reasons was that these cameras actually emit a radio frequency that can trip off improvised explosive devices. The other issue was that there was information circulating on social media, quite literally giving a play-by-play on how to kind of tap into these systems and find out where these agents and officers are. So right now, Nicole, I have reached out to Axon, who is a manufacturer, and also to Border Patrol to find out what the fix is, because today they said the stand down is lifted. They are now set to resume normal operations and wear those cameras again. However, I haven't heard from Axon or CBP on what the solution was or how they're mitigating this risk, Nicole.
So I'm all for the use of all this technology. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of through goofing around with the fentanyl issue. It seems like we've stood by and let these other countries poison our people, which, you know, if you're the president of the United States, you have a job, and that's to protect us from poison. And it's not just going to drug users, guys. It filters down into teens and kids and people's medications. And it's just easier and cheaper to get here and distribute among our people. It just creates a huge criminal underground. It's affecting a lot of people in Appalachia too, in the poor areas. That's what Hillbilly Elegy is about, is that was up very easily to get a hold of pharmaceuticals. Well, these fentanyl drugs, they're coming in, they're like $1.50 a tab. And they can, you know, each dose can be a legal overdose. I mean, not illegal, but a technical overdose of each person. So we got to stop messing around with this stuff. It's no different than if you were smuggling weapons in or smuggling firearms or smuggling anything deadly into the country. So I see it as a properly described as a terrorist activity. I don't see the problem with militarizing the border either, at least as a defensive offense. But if the criminal cartels are operating all along that border and they start attacking our agents or our ICE people as we're deporting people back over their country, they started the war, we didn't. The good news is we're using those giant airplane-like drones. I like doing that kind of news instead of the weird, mysterious ones that started showing up over New Jersey, where everyone's going like, what are they? What are they? Whose are they? Whose are they? Now we find out that's all gone away, not a big deal, and that they weren't foreign assets. And then now we see them being used against foreign countries. I think that's a good, happy ending to the drone stories in America. How about you? Let me know what you guys think. Are you in support of military drones going into Mexico? I'm Doug in exile.